Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Jayam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 26, King Puranjan goes to the forest to hunt and his queen becomes angry. Text number 22 onwards. So King Puranjan is further speaking to his queen and is trying to pacify her. Parma anugriho dando bhut prityeshu prabhunarpitaha balo na veda tattanvi bandhu krityam amarchanaha. My dear slender maiden, when a master chastises his servant, the servant should accept this as great mercy. One who becomes angry must be very foolish not to know that such is the duty of his friend. It is said that when a foolish man is instructed in something very nice, he generally cannot accept it. Indeed, he actually becomes angry. Such anger is compared to the poison of a serpent, for when a serpent is fed milk and bananas, its poison actually increases. Instead of becoming merciful or sober, the serpent increases its poisonous venom when fed nice foodstuffs. Similarly, when a fool is instructed, he does not rectify himself, but actually becomes angry. So this is how he's trying to pacify the queen or pacify the intelligence, because without the permission of the intelligence, or without taking intelligence into consideration, he was so busy in sense enjoyment. But now he's repenting. Satvam mukham sudati subhrav anurag bhara vrida vilamba vilasadhasitavalokama nilal kali bhirupas kritam unnasam naha swanam pradarshya manaswini valgu vakyam. My dear wife, your teeth are very beautiful set, and your attractive features make you appear very thoughtful. Kindly give up your anger, be merciful upon me, and please smile upon me with loving attachment. When I see a smile on your beautiful face, and when I see your hair, which is as beautiful as the color blue, and see your raised nose and hear your sweet talk, you will become more beautiful to me and thus attract me and oblige me. You are my most respected mistress. So all the Prabhujis, if they want to pacify their wives, please write down this shloka, this translation, and you can read too. An effeminate husband, simply being attracted by the external beauty of his wife, tries to become her most obedient servant. Shiva Shankaracharya has therefore advised that we not become attracted by a lump of flesh and blood. The story is told that at one time a man very much attracted to a beautiful woman wooed the woman in such a way that she devised a plan to show him the ingredients of her beauty. So what had happened was, in this story, there was a king who had gone to the forest for hunting. But in the forest, he was hungry and thirsty, and he saw a hut. So he went there to get some water, and there came a very beautiful girl who came out of the hut, and she fed him water. So king got very attracted to this beautiful girl, and so king just proposed to her that you're very beautiful, and I want to have relationship with you. And because he was a king of the country, she could not refuse. She could not say no. But then because she was a tapaswini, a yogini, and very intelligent. So she said, "Oh, king, come after 3 days." So king agreed. He said, okay, she's not saying no, all she's asking for 3 days. So what she did, this is what Prabhupada said. She devised a plan to show him the ingredients of her beauty. The woman made a date to see him, and before seeing him, she took a purgative. And that whole day and night, she simply passed stool. So this is what she did. She just took lots of purgative to clean up her bowels. So she simply passed a stool, and she preserved that stool in a pot. The next night, when the man came to see her, she appeared very ugly and emaciated because whole day, whole night she was passing stool. So there was no strength left in the body, and there was no water left in the body. It was completely dehydrated. When the man inquired from her about the woman with whom he had an engagement, she replied, "I am that very woman." The man refused to believe her, not knowing that she had lost all her beauty due to the violent purgative that caused her to pass a stool day and night. When the man began to argue with her, the woman said she was not looking beautiful because she was separated from the ingredients of her beauty. When the man asked how she could be so separated, the woman said, "Come on and I'll show you." She then showed him the pot filled with liquid stool and vomit. Thus the man became aware that a beautiful woman is simply a lump of matter composed of blood, stool, urine, and similar other disgusting ingredients. This is the actual fact, but in a state of illusion, man becomes attracted by illusory beauty and becomes a victim of Maya. So this is this is Prabhupada. And this is trying to portray the real picture in front of us. He's not saying, "Oh, you do whatever you do, it's fine," and man should get attracted by women, women should get attracted by men, and the life goes on. But meanwhile, you just also do chanting, and you'll be fine. He's preparing us to be really attracted to Krishna, and that is possible only when we get detached from this material attractions. So these kind of examples will come again and again and again and again. So we should keep these examples in mind when we get attracted, because our mind is like that, our sanskaras are like that. So we are chanting and trying to get attracted towards Krishna, trying to hold him, his form, his beautiful form, his service to our heart. But Maya is going to play her tricks. But then we should remember that a beautiful woman or a very charming, handsome man is simply a lump of matter composed of blood, stool, urine, and similar other disgusting ingredients. Krishna, on the other hand, he is so beautiful, that he even attracts Cupid, and his body is not made of all this blood, stool, urine, and other disgusting ingredients. It's made of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. And similarly, Srimati Radharani, who even attracts Krishna towards herself. So that should be our center of attraction. Their service, their beauty, their puja, their katha, their name. But if we are attracted to only the liquid beauty, then the next birth is right there. It's sitting right there. We have to take birth again and again and again and again. King Puranjan begged his queen to return to her original beauty because she was lying on the ground and without any makeup, and she was very angry at him. He tried to revive her just as a living entity tries to revive his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness, which is very beautiful. All the beautiful features of the queen could be compared to the beautiful features of Krishna consciousness. When one returns to his original Krishna consciousness, he actually becomes steady and his life becomes successful. So he is trying to revive his original Krishna consciousness. So in a way, he's speaking to intelligence or the Krishna conscious, spiritual consciousness, and which is upset with him because he spent so much of time and energy in useless sense gratification activities, which don't give pleasure anyway, but we waste our time. Text 24. Tasmin dare damam aham tav veer patni yo anyatra bhusur kulat kritkil bishastam pashena vit bhayam unmuditam trilokyam anyatra ve murari pori taratra dasa. O hero's wife, kindly tell me if someone has offended you. I am prepared to give such a person punishment as long as it does not belong to the Brahman caste. But for the servant of Murari Ripu, Krishna, I excuse no one within or beyond these three worlds. No one can freely move after offending you, for I am prepared to punish. And here, funny thing is, he tells her, "Oh, hero's wife." It means I'm hero. You're my wife. So although he's trying to pacify her with every way possible, he's still saying, "I'm the hero," and I'm, in a way, he's saying because I can give punishment to anyone who has offended you. According to Vedic civilization, a Brahman or one is properly qualified to understand the absolute truth. That is one belonging to the most intelligent social order, as well as the devotee of Lord Krishna, who is known as Muradusha, enemy of demon named Mura, is not subject to the rules and regulations of the state. So Brahmins and Vaishnavas, they don't come under Kshatriyas. In other words, upon breaking the laws of the state, everyone can be punished by the government, except the Brahmins and the Vaishnavas. Brahmins and Vaishnavas never transgress the laws of the state or the laws of nature because they know perfectly well the resultant reactions caused by such law breaking. Even though they may sometimes appear to violate the laws, they are not to be punished by the king. This instruction was given to King Prachin Barhishat by Narad Muni. King Puranjan was a representative of King Prachin Barhishat because King Puranjan is a soul, any soul. And Narad Muni was reminding King Prachin Barhishat of his forefather Maharaj Prithu, who never chastised a Brahman or a Vaishnava. So not just only a Brahman or a Vaishnava, a woman, child, cow, they also, and an old man, they also cannot be punished. One's pure intelligence or pure Krishna consciousness becomes polluted by material activities. Pure consciousness can be revived by the process of sacrifice, charity, pious activities, etc. But when one pollutes his Krishna consciousness by offending a Brahman or a Vaishnava, it is very difficult to revive. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has described the Vaishnava aparad or offense to a Vaishnava as a mad elephant offense. One should be very careful not to offend a Vaishnava or a Brahman. Even the great yogi Durvasa was harassed by the Sudarshan Chakra when he offended the Vaishnava Maharaj Ambarish, who was neither a Brahman nor a sannyasi, but an ordinary householder. But Maharaj Ambarish was a Vaishnava, and consequently, Durvasa Muni was chastised. So this story will come in the 9th canto, actually. but this Vaishnava Aparad is the most serious offense, and that can really put a break, bring a great obstacle on the path of bhakti. So one has to be very, very careful. And that's what the king is saying. As long as he's not a Brahman or Vaishnava, I can punish him. The conclusion is that if Krishna consciousness is covered by material sins, one can eliminate the sins simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. But if one pollutes his Krishna consciousness by offending a Brahman or a Vaishnava, one cannot revive it until one properly atones for the sin by pleasing the offended Vaishnava or a Brahman. This was the course that Durvasa Muni had to follow, for he surrendered unto Maharaj Ambarish. A Vaishnava Aparad cannot be atoned for by any means other than by begging the pardon of the offended Vaishnava. So begging the pardon of the offended Vaishnava, that's the only way. And the previous line Prabhupada said, by pleasing the offended Vaishnava or a Brahman. So generally Vaishnavas, actually they don't get offended so easily. Or they don't get offended at all. They, in one place, I think Prabhupada said that they forgive before we even ask for forgiveness. That's a Vaishnava. So they can forgive, but Krishna does not. If they forgive happily, but sometimes at the same time, we have to see how repentant we are when we are asking for forgiveness. Are we really repentant? Are we really asking for forgiveness from the bottom of our hearts? Or this is just a lip service we are trying to do? So we know the resultant reactions, but still we are trying to get away with whatever we did or said. Because a repentant heart would sincerely ask for forgiveness, but at the same time, he would make sure he doesn't commit that offense again. But if somebody is just doing lip service, although Vaishnava can forgive and forget, but Krishna does not. So sincerity of heart is very, very important. Even while we are chanting, we should be sincere. While we are asking for forgiveness, while we are asking for service, while we are glorifying some devotee, we should be sincere. It should not come as a matter of show only. That, oh, okay, see how sincere I am, and I'll show it to everybody else. And then get on with my activities, with my life as usual. That doesn't help actually. Because Krishna is sitting as Paramatma in our hearts, and he knows exactly what is going on. What we are even thinking, forget about talking and doing. He knows what we are thinking. Not a single thought is missed by Paramatma. So we can fool the whole world. We cannot fool Krishna. No way. It just he does not give the reaction right away. He gives us a chance to rectify our mistakes. So he doesn't. So we think, oh, I got away with that. See, I was correct, and that's why I did not get punished. Well, we are not going to get punished when we want to, or we're not going to get the reactions when we want to get. That's why that shloka in Bhagavad Gita, karmanyevadikaraste. If we look at it from that more perspective, that's a perfect shloka. We don't have a right to the resultants, reactions of our activities. So especially when we come to bhakti is for simple-hearted, simplicity, saralta vaishnavata. But nowadays, although Prabhupada, of course, this quotation came from a Chinese cookie. They always have some nice quotations inside the cookie, and when you open the cookie and eat it, and this paper comes out, and then people keep it because they're nice. So this quotation came from that purity is a force, and utility is a principle, and utility is a principle, purity is a force, preaching is essence, and there was one more thing, books are the basis. So something like that came out, and then Prabhupada disciples showed him, and Prabhupada made this thing. So purity is a force which pushes our bhakti forward. Purity means purity of thoughts, purity of actions, purity of food, purity of living, purity in our dealings with others. That's what purity is. Purity, external, internal purity, both. External purity, taking bath at least twice a day, and internal purity by chanting of the holy names. So all these things combined together is purity. And simplicity or saralta is a purity of thoughts. Because we should not be even thinking about cheating anybody or telling lies. But many times we convenience of ourselves. Oh, I'm lying to protect whatever, the society or the devotee or whatever. But we have to see it doesn't become a habit. Otherwise, Krishna is there. And then we get into committing offenses, and then the whole problem starts. So we have to be very, very careful dealing with the devotees. Dealing with anybody also, because after all, we have to give this message out, we have to preach. And people, devotees on one hand, they can forgive and forget, but people in general, they take it very seriously when devotee commits any mistake. So we got to be careful, and that carefulness comes when we are simple. Actually, a simple person, he doesn't have to think twice before saying something, because he has nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide. So the offenses come when we try to manufacture our own ways, and we think we are the smartest one. Krishna, as a Paramatma, is the most smart person, because we cannot hide anything from him. We cannot lie to him. He cannot hide, and he knows everything. Vaktram nate vitilikam malinam viharsha saram bhima Bhimam vimushtim petaragam pashyastanavapi shuchopahato sujato bimbadharam vigat kumkum pankaragam. My dear wife, until this day I have never seen your face without tilak decorations, nor I have seen you so morose and without luster or affection. Nor I have seen your two nice breasts wet with tears from your own eyes. Nor have I ever before seen your lips, which are ordinarily as red as a beam of fruit, without their reddish hue. Every woman looks very beautiful when decorated with tilak and vermilion or kumkum. A woman generally becomes very attractive when her lips are colored with reddish saffron or, well, vermilion Prabhupada says here, but actually kumkum cannot be used on the lips. Some kind of lipstick. But when one's consciousness and intelligence are without any brilliant thoughts about Krishna, they become morose and lusterless. So much so that one cannot derive any benefit despite sharp intelligence. So the real makeup or the ornaments of beautification for the intelligence is when the intelligence is sharp by the thoughts of Krishna, by the talks of Krishna, by the service of Krishna. So that intelligence of King Puranjan was very lusterless, didn't have the beauty because he hadn't engaged the intelligence in the proper service. Tanme prasida suhrida krit kilbishasya swaram gatasya mrigyam vyasanaturasya kadevaram vashagatam kusumasnavegas visrastaponshamushati na bhajet kritye. My dear queen, due to my sinful desires, I went to the forest to hunt without asking you. Therefore, I must submit that I have offended you. Nonetheless, thinking of me as a most intimate subordinate, you should still be very much pleased with me. Factually, I'm very much bereaved, but being pierced by the arrow of Cupid, I'm feeling lusty. Oh, where is the beautiful woman who would give up her lusty husband and refuse to reunite with him? Both man and woman desire one another. That is a basic principle of material existence. Women in general always keep themselves beautiful so that they can be attractive to their lusty husbands. When a lusty husband comes home before his wife, the wife takes advantage of his aggressive activities and enjoys life. Generally, when a woman is, again, this is another controversial statement, or actually it means something else. Generally, when a woman is attacked by a man, whether her husband or some other man, she enjoys the attack, being too lusty. Now, this attack, it doesn't mean he takes up a cricket bat or some other object to beat her up. It's just when he is too aggressive in the union time. In other words, when one's intelligence is properly utilized, both the intellect and the intelligent person enjoy one another with great satisfaction. So that is a real meaning, that's an allegory. The actual happiness of karmis is sex life. They work very hard outside the home, and to satiate their hard labor, they come home to enjoy sex life. King Puranjan went to the forest to hunt, and after his hard labor, he returned home to enjoy his sex life. If a man lives outside the home and spends a week in a city or somewhere else, at the end of the week, he becomes very anxious to return home and enjoy sex with his wife. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Karmis work very hard simply to enjoy sex. Modern human society has improved the materialistic way of life simply by introducing unrestricted sex life in many different ways. This is most prominently visible in the Western world. Also in India, because India is blindly following the Western civilization or Western culture. But this is This is what King Puranjan is asking, or the soul is telling the intelligence that let's make up and be together, basically. So he is repenting. The soul is repenting that I went after so many things of sense gratification, neglected you, but now let's work together and help each other, satisfy each other. So there ends the 26th chapter, and tomorrow we'll start the 27th chapter. Any questions or comments? Okay, just one announcement that Karthik is going nicely, but it is going to end soon. So the last 5 days of Karthik is called Bhishma Panchak. So that will be, I think it starts on 24th. So 24, 25, 26, 27, 28 November. So every year, I try to chant extra rounds on those 5 days. And Krishna's mercy, it happens to be long weekend here. I just have to take 1 day off. So I also request all of you to chant more rounds during those 5 days. It is said any austerity done during those 5 days then it is considered as austerity done throughout the month of Kartik. So you all should also chant, and so we won't have the classes those 5 days. I'll send a message, but just to make you aware of that. So
Sure,
sure.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I said, Prabhuji, sure, we'll do that.
Sure, Prabhu. Sure. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, we all should chant more rounds that time. Okay, so you all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.